Already had added you.
All right, everybody. First episode, Sugar Road Show. I don't know what's going to happen, but we all need to hold on. That's all I know.
You're doing great.
That's what we've got going on tonight. So far, we've got Damien Farr just joined us. Hey, Damien. How's it going?
Hello. Good.
And, good. And we've got Gretchen. Gretchen's here.
Hey there.
How you doing, Gretchen? And we've got Tony working the controls from across the pond. Yes?
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Yeah. And we've got Admin. Admin's here to do whatever he does. Hey, Admin. Yeah. There we go. And then, of course, the person I am just happy to have here, and that's Miss KanDJohnson. And saw her handing out a little whoop ass this evening, and it was quite pleasurable, I must say. So welcome, Miss Candy.
I'm not trying to interrupt anybody, but every single time I see Candy, she's whooping butt.
Yeah, isn't it wonderful?
Y'all gonna give me a bad rep.
No, that's not whooping butt away. That's whooping butt in a good way.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. Like we were talking earlier, that I thought it was a dynamic that I hadn't seen in quite a while. Just watching a few people kind of sidestepping, like, oh Lord, what do I do now? Looking around. I mean, you couldn't obviously see them look around because it's their avatar, but you could just feel their head spinning. And I loved it. I loved it. Oh, somebody come out from behind the avatar.
Yeah, you ain't getting me doing that.
Well, you know, it's not required. You do what you want.
Thank you. I was going to do that anyway, but
yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
We all have free will to do that.
I'm well over that. That's for whoever. And you know what? I'm getting used to having my avatar down. It's a little bit of a interesting dynamic. You know.
Well, at least you're not being flirted at like that one guy was.
Who?
That one guy flirting at you.
Oh, well, you know, girl can't. We can't turn too much of that down. A little flirt now and then keeps us old ladies happy.
I'm older than you, so don't mention old. You're a lady.
I think it's a couple months, sir. A couple
If you
months.
say old, then that means I'm old. So.
We're
Okay, allow me just to say it for once and for all. I know it's going to burst everyone's bubble, but everyone's old.
Yeah, I know. We're all as old as we're going to get today.
Today. No, I'm sorry. That's wrong because
I love the way she threw that last word in there, today.
Well, see, it's 12:03 now, so we got a whole 24 hours.
Well, that's until the day runs a new one, but that doesn't mean that That doesn't mean that we're not going to get older as we're in a hangout. I mean, we're going to get older by seconds and minutes and hours. I mean, that's just the way it's going to work.
I thought time was suspended in a hangout. It's not?
Yeah, it's an
timekeeper. I'm sorry.
Back a few years. We're staying in hangouts.
Take that over to Candy. She might do something with it.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's a conundrum wrapped in an enigma or surrounded by a whatever.
It's an axiom. We should get Sty.
Sty will be here, I'm sure, at some point with his skillful ways.
So what's the topic, if I might add? Because
you know what? I did not have a topic. This is my first one, and so I am open to suggestions if you'd like one. I can tell you what I've been thinking about lately, what I've been running into. Of course, I have this issue with the MGTOWs and the MRAs and the anti-natalists.
Mm-hmm.
They are driving me batty. My head is just spinning.
so I'm curious of an off-topic question.
Yeah.
Are you trying to do an audio routine to where you're going to be on live like 24/7?
Geez, I've been on, what, a half an hour now? What gives you that clue?
No. I have to say that because you have the name of the broadcast of the road, Sugary Road or something like that.
Sugar Road's my name. Yeah, I don't know. You want me to stay on 24 hours a day? I don't know that I've got that kind of dedication just yet. First of all, I don't think I have the skill or the content or...
Well, you mean, or the unconsciousness of sleeping?
Well... Yeah, you know.
I mean, I'm not trying to make fun of her, but
getting the 24-hour I'm building up to it. I didn't yesterday and I didn't today, but I usually every day I have hangout. And generally maybe around 12 o'clock, but I really wanted to have something 24 hours
Yeah.
running, and so I'm trying to, I guess I'm with the everyday routine, I basically was trying to build up to that. But I guess because my reputation has preceded me, people mostly, they're a little scared to come in my hangout. They don't want to challenge me in my hangout on my turf. They feel a little more at ease that perhaps if I get too rough with them in Nadia hangout, she might kick me.
There were a couple times I thought for sure you were about to get kicked, and I thought, oh, they're going to kick her. And I couldn't see you for a second because you were presenting. You were up there at the time. And then all of a sudden you were gone, and I was like, no, they didn't kick her. I was going to be so mad.
That makes me think whenever you're talking about Nadia's hangout and being kicked. The only time I've ever seen people get kicked out of Nadia's hangout was when, like, the person was AFK for a long period of time and they needed room for somebody else to come in. She just ejects, like, somebody that she knows is gone. And that's the only time. I've never seen her eject people just because they've been rude or overpowering or anything like that. I've seen her being talked over, but that's about it.
Well, I kind of get a little bit different kind of treatment. All right. So, I believe that it's because if you ever seen me in any hangout, I seem to dominate the conversation, and it's not because I'm dominant, but people tend to want to ask me questions. Like, and it's not my hangout, but I'm like, if the people are asking me questions, what am I supposed to do? Like, really?
I know. I open my mouth a lot, and I made a lot of mistakes when I first got here, kind of overstepping my boundaries, and I didn't know I was, but apparently I was, because I don't know, I just had to listen and believe. So I kind of learn to sit and listen a bit, but sometimes they just, if the people like you in that room, they're gonna talk to you, and they're gonna engage you. So I'm learning to be more quiet.
Well,
and
it's not always whether or not they like you or not.
yes,
Sometimes they can find out what you believe, and they'll just chew you out for it, and they'll keep asking you questions, try to debunk your whole entire belief system.
Yeah.
I've had that happen before.
They'll try to debunk more for me. But the thing is that they'll initiate the conversation to debunk me. All right. So when it gets to the point that they saying there's no way in chance in hell you're gonna debunk this lady, then they get angry, and then now it's more of an insult match or whatever. They'll what do you call that? Mute me and stuff like that. And to me, if you're gonna keep freaking you're gonna make your comment and then mute me when I respond, then what's the point of this whole, it's no point, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's one of those, it depends on who it is. Do they want to dominate you, or do they really want to try and win the argument,
So
it's a Kobayashi Maru. Hey, Lucid.
You got both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
There's many different things that people do, not just try to throw a topic out there, wait for you to respond, and mute you. Then you got the other kind of perspective of you ask a question purposely to get them riled up, then they eject you, and then they have to either come back in on a different account, or they have to answer in the comments outside.
Yeah.
And then you're screwed because you can't get back in.
Right.
Unless you go on another account.
I've never been ejected before, because most people want me in there.
Oh, well, you're missing something out, Candy. Hey, you need to eject. You need to eject her so she knows how it feels.
Certainly not to go outside like an idiot. That's like a creep outside the window looking in somebody's window. Like,
you're not kidding.
Yeah, well,
when
Go ahead. I'll let you go ahead.
Okay, thanks. You know, Candy, when you had Bunto on, I think it was last week, I was watching, and there was one point in the conversation where you had given your opinion, and then he had explained something in a way that was not equal, and you let him know that. And I was laughing so much that, like, few days later, I'm telling you, nothing reminded me of it. Just all of a sudden, I burst out laughing, remembering that because I loved how you stood your ground. I was like, that was classic.
Only thing I say is yesterday in Naughty's Hangout, I swear, she was doing that and like making people laugh, and she was laying it down when she's saying things. I swear.
Well, you know how I got started back because I had got mad with these debaters because they just go back and forth, and sometimes they use big words, and neither one of them makes sense. That was just that, you know, now that's when I'll start hurling out insults, like smart, dumb insults, because that's like you're an intelligent idiot. Like, no, what purpose is it to use a whole bunch of words in a sentence and nobody knows what you're talking about? Like, that's not
Candy, that's a paradox. Intelligent idiot? How in the world do you get that? I mean, do you have to be an atheist for a long period of time to accomplish that?
I know sometimes because of my accent and I just pronounce my words real fucked up. People don't know what I'm saying, but I mean, to me, it's intentionally. I want to articulate my words and everything like that better. Why would you want to say things that nobody else understands? That just doesn't make sense to me at all. Like,
yeah.
little common sense will do you. Just a little common sense.
That was what was so funny about tonight. I was just watching you just run those gentlemen around, and it's just so refreshing. It didn't matter what philosophy they pulled out. It didn't matter what, you know, tactics they had. It was like, no, you're gonna listen. You are gonna listen.
Yeah, because I noticed that they do people like that, and they do one another like that, and they'll just hurl out irrelevant as conversation like that doesn't even go with the fuck what we're talking about. Like, who does that? Can you please stay on topic here? Like, don't go all off on a tangent just trying to pretend that you're intelligent when it would be very intelligent for you to understand what the topic is.
And I thought it was great that you were talking about how to deal with non-believers and to deal with them with love and all of these great things that I think a lot of us think every day, like, wow, why don't they deal with us more that way? You would think that, you know,
Sugar.
that would,
Do you know what Candy's religion is?
Well, I don't know other than what I heard, and she said she was, and I don't ask because I don't like to be asked, but
I'm different than you. I ask so I don't stereotype people. She is a lover.
I know. She's like a humanist, is what I heard, and she loves God, and that was it, and that, you know.
See, I asked her the other day, and she said she basically went down this like short list of what she's not. Then she said everyone made their own, and apparently they've encountered their own things. So therefore, I'm a lover because that's what I do, and that's what I've been doing my whole life. I've been loving. So I mean, I don't know if I'm misrepresenting you there, Candy, but I think that's word for word. I think that's word for word what you said too.
I'm sorry, but judging by the performance she gave earlier, I would actually say she's not a lover. She's a fighter.
Yeah, she's a lover and a fighter.
Yeah, but love can be fierce. And it needs to sometimes.
Hey, you gotta also understand, love has a dark side. And that dark side you don't want to encounter.
But I'm actually beginning to get the point now. Right. Yeah. Okay. So what we're actually saying is, Candy is actually the embodiment of love.
Yes.
Exactly.
But she actually shows her dark side a lot more often.
As every woman should.
Have you got a son called Luke?
No. That's my
It was because Luke, come with me.
Oh no!
His father and mother.
Love it.
I mean, sorry.
Oh, that's cute.
Little Darth Vader action for you. Yeah, I have that thing on the outside of my or on my page that says, don't fight, but love, but love for what you fight. I don't even know what it is. It says something. I don't know what it says. Something about loving and fighting. I should hand it over to Candy.
You see, I shared that on my page, and I put a comment with it that.
That's right.
That I'm definitely a lover, and I fight to love. That's my way of loving. But because people think that love is always kind and gentle, and that's just a misconception. I think the true essence of love is balance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a balance of both good and evil. Not saying don't fight. Real love is knowing when it's necessary to fight. All right. Real love is when it is necessary to fight hard. If somebody, and this is the depiction I get in my mind, a mother. If somebody come and mess with your children,
oh yeah.
Oh, I don't care how little. Sugar Rose a little woman, but I guarantee you she gonna look real big. You come mess with her children.
Yeah, it's gonna be all bad. And a few of them have seen me, get upset, and it's more kind of a hysterical woman. They all go, "Oh, here she goes again." But I'm the same way. I came in here saying, "Why can't we all just get along? Come on, it doesn't matter what you believe. Let's just." St. Tommy will tell you, that was kind of my thing. But I got a little frustrated as much as anybody else, and, I lost my shit a couple times, and that's all right. My real friends love me.
Everybody gets upset at some point in time, and everyone loses their cool, and everyone has a way of blowing the top. It's just whether or not you want to, when you're blowing the top, it's whether or not you want to sound logical when you actually speak, or whether or not you're going to sound like Candy, say, going off topic.
Yeah. Well, Seth likes to. He's got me twice, and the last one was Seth and Seamus, and they got me. And I, for whatever reason, I think they said I was slightly wrong. I have been told I was slightly wrong. It was very difficult for me to agree that I was slightly wrong. On that particular topic, but I'm conceding that maybe I was. But also, there was other people that were like, no, you weren't wrong. And boy, I came up fighting. Oh, come on.
Well, Seth came in on a conversation yesterday that we was having, and I was speaking about the nature of Nadia is she's a lover, and she cares about people, and so to me, because of the way that I believe in God and I have a relationship with him, I talk to him every day, and he told me that she has his love. Okay, so I'm not going to divert from that. It's just like Christians believe in their Bible. They believe that that's the word of God. Okay, well, why would I, if you're not going to divert from just your belief that this Bible is the word of God, what makes you think I'm going to divert from him telling me himself that that she has his love in her? Okay, I'm getting it straight from the horse's mouth. You're getting it from somebody told you this shit.
Candy, I don't know whether you're gonna mention the part, but I did actually happen to warn you before I happened to leave that Seth has a way of very meticulously taking your words back at you.
Yeah.
I tried to give you a warning at that. I don't know how new you are of Google Plus.
I handled it, baby.
This young man.
Look at the video from yesterday. I handled it.
The only thing I can say is I don't know whether or not you realize this, but I'm not in Hangouts to debunk everybody. I'm in Hangouts to profess and to have a good time.
I see you.
Profess the gospel, whether it be through small portions, or whether it be to have a good time talking to people, having a conversation, because some people don't get out of their houses, some people do.
Yeah.
So when I warn you of that, that's not me trying to be rude, that's me just trying to tell you I know how certain atheists react, I know how certain theists react, and whenever I see your nature and I see the atheist nature and I see the conflict in which the two will collide, I decide to give the believer the other person the heads up, whether it be a believer or a non-believer. I don't care. I try to give the person a heads up so they're not walking into a blindsided bashing. I mean,
girl, they had me up against my wall crying one day. I was so upset. I couldn't even remember that I could slam the laptop down. I literally thought I was right there. It was ridiculous.
Very intense.
Yeah, it was really intense. But he's right, and you know, I am of a different faith, but I am absolutely a defender of everybody's. Whatever you want, and if anybody's treating you badly or calling you out when they shouldn't be, I'm always, you know, there to stand up for people. And, you know, as far as my hangouts go, I don't care what your belief is, as long as you're respectful to each other. That's all I care about.
Candy, how long have you been on Google Plus before Tony says something, even though he's the monitor?
I'm sorry, y'all. I popped out. I live up in the mountains, so.
Let's just let Tony go first since he's the monitor, then I'll ask you the question again.
I was only going to ask you something, Administrator. You've been using the blanket term atheists. Is it possible for you to actually refer to them as individuals? Because no two atheists are the same, and they all have varying tolerance levels. Obviously, the ones that are a problem to Christians are the anti-theists.
When you say the word blanket atheist, that I'm insinuating the fact of individuals that believe that there's no evidence in their opinion that there's such thing as a God. I refer to them as individuals, just as a whole, because if I try to pinpoint them, as you said, if you pinpoint one to another, they vary. Yeah, and that's the reason why I say atheist, and I don't specifically say, because if I start specifically saying, I mean, I could go down a long list like,
he did
first off.
Yeah. He did say certain ones. He did say certain ones.
Yeah, I don't know if I heard the whole thing because your mic was kind of cutting out. So.
Yeah, I didn't mean to insinuate anything. It's just that it sounded like you were doing that, and I obviously understand that I'm certainly not like anyone else. I'm my own being, so. I have one common thing with someone else, and that's it.
Right. And that's why when I speak of atheists or Christians or people in any group, I will say for the most part, or you know, like he said. Certain ones or whatever, and sometimes I'll go into specifying like I'll call people fake atheists or fake Christians.
Well, you know, I have that issue with theists or non-theists or anti-theists. I'm still learning everybody's title. You know, I mean, and for me, it just comes down to the person. It's just the character.
And that's how I handle it. I deal with just the person that I'm talking to, rather than trying to, and what they actually say, rather than trying to say all Christians or all atheists or all MGTOWs or whatever.
No, I know. There's absolutes now. All MGTOWs need to come in here and talk to me, and all anti-natalists need to come here and talk to me. All of them.
That's the reason, Tony, in which I specify my words.
Sit down and have some happiness.
What is the MGTOWs?
So there's these young men. They're called MGTOWs, meaning men going their own way. That's what MGTOWs.
Oh yeah, Black Man told me about that. He was an idiot. But I mean, I ain't gonna say that. He was an idiot. Let me correct that. Help me, Lord. the whole concept was just outrageous. If you're gonna be gay, just be gay. Like, what is this?
No, I don't think they're gay. But what I do see running through them is they almost all of them that I've met so far, their mamas have ducked out on them. Either they were alcoholics or they had something going on, and that sacred bond, between mother and child was broken too early.
Could I ask for a little bit of a background? I've never heard MGTOW before, and can you give me kind of just a basic idea?
So do you know the MRAs?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's basically the same thing. They're feeling now. I can only paraphrase, and I'm sure I'm leaving something out, and hopefully I identify it well enough. And we do have somebody here that's, I think, more knowledgeable. If he's still here, Lucid, are you still here? Yeah. I know they're not. Lucid's saying they're not exactly the same thing. Actually, why don't I have Lucid tell you?
Okay.
Yeah, Lucid. Oh, Lucid.
Oh yeah. Well, it's, I don't know. I guess it's a fairly new movement, but it's just a response to a lot of stuff that's in society now. Like men are seeing that they're not really in a good position as far as marriage and as far as I don't know, raising kids, and there's a lot of stuff about it that men have been hurt by, so they're just pretty much opting out of the whole family dynamic thing. They just want to do their own thing with their money, and they don't want to, I guess, keep getting hurt. So
yeah, they tend to be really bitter, though, unfortunately.
Yes, very bitter.
Yeah.
To a degree of like, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, I do agree. Like, a lot of them are bitter, and I mean, from what I see, a lot of them, they just pretty much have sworn off all women, and
that's
yeah. But I mean,
but how are you gonna deny responsibility? Okay, this one so-called, I will put that in quotations. I think that was a cop out. I don't want to pay child support back. He's so angry about paying child support.
Did this one pay child support? Because the ones I've met haven't even been married yet. They don't have any children. But the one thing is, their mamas have all left them.
Okay, but this one, this is why I say you have the fake or whatever, and you got the real people that actually fit the description. All right, because people will take on titles. That's why when admin asked me, what am I made up my own damn title. I'm not going to let nobody describe me for me.
Yeah.
But people will take on titles because they want to feel a part of something. All right? Yeah. I'm a leader, so no, I'm not going to follow your group. You don't have to get in mine, or we don't have no group at all. Everybody is welcome type of group for me. But people want to be a part of something, and this is why they're willing to take on these titles and be a part of these religions that they know in their heart of hearts, like, this shit ain't quite right. All right. This particular person that I met that was a MGTOW, sounded like he just didn't want to pay child support. They
want to have the right to also demand that a woman terminate the pregnancy if they so choose.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, like, what I do like about it is that men are, I mean, at least what I took out of it is that no longer I'm my own person, and I don't need a woman to feel like a man. And
well, and I hear that one, Lucid, because and you and I have talked, and I got to tell you, this young gentleman is really got his head on straight, really got his head on straight. The problem comes that these young men are so angry that women have been dominating the world for so long. They are tired of women being in charge. They are tired of women, running them around, and I didn't get that. And I'm like, well, what was why did we have to have the National Organization of Women? Why did we have to have suffragettes? And who was running the country while you guys were off at war? And really, when it comes down to it, when you pull all the crap away, it came down to character. Because there's men that will charm the pants off a woman and knock her up and walk away. And this man is supposed to be justified for that? I don't think so. And the woman that marries the man, gets knocked up, has a couple kids, and then she's set, right? She's got all of her stuff, and we've seen both.
So are you saying that, Sugar, are you saying that you think women have been, I guess maybe I'm not following exactly what you're saying. You're saying that you think that women have been in charge? Is that kind of what you're saying, or is this from their perspective?
That was pure sarcasm, because we haven't been. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
But
that wasn't making sense to me.
I mean, but
if you talk, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sorry, but half of that is true. Because and this is going to sound incredibly sexist, but please, girls, I don't mean this.
So we should not kill you after you say this? Is that what you're saying?
Everybody's becoming famous right now.
The head of the house was always the woman. I mean, okay, the head of the household was the man. But the things that took place in the house, the way it was organized, the everything was actually the woman. It was only the man actually provided, when he came in, sort of demanded respect, and they had to sort of kowtow to his leadership, if you like. And I don't like that situation. I'd much rather everyone be equal and have an equal say and shit like that. That's how I see it. I mean, okay, yes, if you go outside the household and into the big wide world, women were really, up until just recently, were just a lower class character. And that was wrong. Hence the reason for having the suffragettes, which got them the vote and things like that. So part of what, even though she said it was snarky, some of what Sugar, God damn it. So some of what Sugar was saying was actually true in a way, but just not a good way.
Well, I think that men, there is a thing I love to do, and it is, I think, the most evil thing I do as a woman. And I've been divorced and never used a lawyer and, all that good stuff. I didn't take from any man. But the one thing that I have been known to do that is kind of evil is when a man goes in to the delivery room with his wife, I'll look at him and go, today's the day you find out how truly inferior your gender is. And they just kind of look at you like, what?
Well,
they know it's coming.
Do you have any kids?
I do. I'm actually a brand new grandmother as well. I have a son that's 30, and I have a daughter that's 22, and a little grandbaby that's 2 months old.
Oh, that's sweet. I have 4 kids, so
yeah.
There's a I mean, there's a certain amount of truth to that. Like, have you ever seen the videos where the guys go in and have the little things put on them that simulate labor? And I always laugh my ass off at those because they can't even make it through the first couple waves. Like they're not even to active labor at that point, and they're freaking out. So. I mean,
but then the other side of it is I worked with men for many, many years, and they were all stronger than me, and I had to concede. There were just things
I think if it's a different strength, it's a different strength. Women, there's a different. I remember when I had my gallbladder, and I was like, I literally thought I was gonna die. The pain was but labor is a different kind of pain because it's like productive. It's going somewhere, so it's like you can deal with it. It's just a different way. It's just a different kind of pain. So.
That gallbladder pain is horrible, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Anybody want to take a chihuahua home, huh? A little chihuahua here? This is evil right here. Say hello. I am evil.
They can't afford them, so no.
Oh, God.
So, Lucid, I was going to ask something, if that's okay. I'm sorry, Tony.
Sorry, I was just going to say, isn't that one of those new modern loo brushes that's just lacking its handle?
Yeah. It should. It's lacking something, and I think it's mana.
That's right. So, Lucy, could I ask you something about your perspective and what you've seen from other people as far as not wanting to have relationships, I guess, that are personal other than friendships, or be taken advantage of? I mean, no person is an island, so how does that balance out in life?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because, like, I don't really, I mean, I do identify as MGTOW somewhat, but, like, a lot of what they believe is just, it's too far out for me. I mean, so, like, they believe that women and men cannot be real friends, at least not close friends, because uh, there's always that sexual tension, and, like, men are either looking for sex or the woman's looking for sex. So it's not like, it's like there is this real this thing they both want, and so I mean that's just how
I
they
hear R.
view
Kelly
women.
right now singing "Bump and Grind" because that's pretty much.
I mean, you know, like a gender divide.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I have to half agree with him. I mean, there was a time when I really, really believed that men and women were not supposed to be friends unless they were friends and lovers. You know, unless they were together. That anytime you had a man and a woman together, somebody wants to do somebody. You know.
Well, that's
That's some. Go ahead, Candy, then I'll comment after you.
I was just gonna say that I guess that's kind of a circumstantial type of thing. Just like whatever your experiences are in life, and that's what many times people attribute to thinking that that's common because it's common in their experiences, so to speak. But I'm very tomboyish. I'm a daddy's girl. All right, so I could many times relate to men more, so always had more guy friends.
Mm.
And initially they would, you know, because I was nice looking or whatever, of course, like, you know, maybe think of me as possibly I might be a girlfriend. But then after they, you know, get to know me, or I'll let them know that I wasn't interested in that type of way, and they just got to know me. They like, man, you're really cool, you know, and we were just friends from then, and then I became more so like a sister. All right, so I guess you know what people think is common is probably more associated with their common experiences. Ah,
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't you have something to say, Admin? Oh, Admin, he
I
left.
was thinking more thoroughly. I was thinking it more thoroughly out before I said it.
I have a thought. I have a theory, and part of it is it's like I really believe there's this like sexual sickness in our country that we've kind of we're all real hung up, and we shouldn't be, you know, and that we don't allow each other even just thoughts. And just two things that I think are an interesting dynamic. You know, most of us, if you're with somebody, you don't look at anybody else. You don't ever look and say,
right,
oh, that's a good looking, you know, and I think that's wrong. I think that when you start denying yourself the fact that if you think that your mate is going to be the last man that is ever handsome to you, I think that's silly, you know, and it's different either to expect that, and that just because you see somebody and they think they're cute does not mean you're going to fool around on them.
right,
You know?
right,
And also, uh, your mate is not going to be the last person that you find really great qualities in, right? I
right,
mean, you're going to meet other men in this world that are going to have nice personalities or be nice, but that doesn't mean you're going to go with them.
right.
You know? So, and I think when we stop each other from even just having a thought, not that you should throw it in their face, not that you should, you know, be disrespectful, but just the knowledge that there are people out there and it's okay to appreciate people on a ground level.
You know, I have to say I have the opposite experience because I can look at a person and see them as aesthetically, you know, beautiful or whatever, and of course in their personality. But I don't get like worked up like I do when I see my husband. And so they're different qualities as far as, you know, depending upon if you want to call that lust or interest, or, you know, it's a physiological reaction as much as it can be a mental reaction that someone stimulates you in some kind of a way.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because of the way that I was raised, but when I'm with someone, like, I can notice physical features and have, you know, admire, okay, that man is still really nice, you know, or whatever like that. Yeah. But I can also give a woman her props and say, oh, she's built well, you know, she's pretty, or whatever. So to me, just giving a compliment to a person's looks or their body structure or whatever like that doesn't have to necessarily be associated with sex. You know what I mean? And when I'm with somebody, I mean, as far as sexually, I don't have no, even if I'm angry with him, I don't think, oh, I'll go sleep with him. That's the furthest thing from my mind. My mind is on getting things right with him if I'm angry with him. I'm not thinking, oh, let me find somebody else. That's just not, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I think I have the same thing that that Gershon was saying. I can look at somebody objectively and just go, oh, look, that's a good-looking guy. But that doesn't mean I'm interested in him at all. And I wouldn't shove that in my mate's face, but I think sometimes that the jealousy gets way too tough with people, and when we start taking away each other's ability to just even think, oh, I'm pissing Ocean off. Or somebody's pissing
No, you're not pissing me off. I'm being pissed off at Lucid.
Oh, okay, sorry. Just keep it nice, guys. Keep it nice. Yeah, and I just, it's these little things that I wonder, you know, would they make a difference in relationships if, you know, if it was okay to find beauty in another person, even though you're paired, you know? I don't know. You're going to see I have all kinds of weird thoughts like that. Feel free to tell me.
I don't actually think if you're in a relationship that there is or should be, right, let's put the should word in there, there should be any problem between the couple if one of them turned around and said, oh, that woman is very attractive. Yeah. You're not taking away from the fact that you actually love and in a relationship with that woman. If you weren't in that relationship, would she have been affected by it anyway? If you said, oh, she's rather attractive, the answer to the question is no, she shouldn't be. But I find that particular thing is really prevalent in relationships today. Now, I don't know whether that's a trust issue or whether that's something I'm just very naive about, and I've not known.
That's what I think about too. Is it me that's naive? Because I think it's kind of a no-brainer. You know, like, you know, you don't search through your man's stuff. You either trust him or you don't. If you can't trust him, you shouldn't be married to him. You know, but I don't know. Maybe we all know how many times I've been married, so I'm not the expert.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you a little story to actually prove the point. When I'm divorced. We were walking down a road one day, and I heard footsteps running up behind us. So, to being protective, I looked back to see what it was, who it was, to make sure we were safe. And I saw it was just a bloke running across the road, and that was fine. And when I turned back, my other half said to me, she was rather attractive, wasn't she? Now, I'd looked back, saw the guy, and then I was looking forward again. I did not see this woman, but my other half was insanely jealous that she thought I was lining up this woman. Why?
Well, women do that all the time. That gets on my damn nerves.
I mean, but the thing is, she's got nothing to worry about. I'm with her. Didn't care about other women. Yeah, okay. I have to admit the vast majority of my friends are female. But that's only because I seem to get on better with females. You know why?
I smell it. I smell a rat. Smell a rat.
No,
I'm teasing you, sweetheart. I'm teasing you.
Oh, okay.
No. Tony and I are good friends. I love to tease him, and he loves to look at me like, "Don't do that. Don't say that.
Don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that."
I know. I cross the line all the time.
You'll bring the MGTOW out on me.
Yes, I bring the MGTOW out in him.
Are you a MGTOW now?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
No. I have no problems with women. I have no problems with having a female boss or anything like that. They have exactly as much right to be in their positions as I do. So I've got no problem with equality.
Yeah, he is a good man. Good man.
You married?
Me?
Who, me?
The gentleman.
No. Tony, are you married?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. No. He's not married.
Sugar, how many? You said you've been married a couple times, or
a couple times? Yeah.
Times by two.
A little more than a couple times. Yeah, 4.
4? Oh. 4. I'm divorced, so
I'm not proud of it at all. And my only saving grace is, like I always say, I didn't use a lawyer. I never took child support. I never took spousal support. Everybody got half of their stuff, and nobody got denied their children. So that's my saving grace, I think.
I'm not judging. I don't.
But I'm an expert at it now.
I kind of think that monogamy is a little bit ridiculous in a lot of situations. So.
You know, girl, I've been having the same thought. Funny you mentioned that.
Hello.
Have you ever heard of the book The Ethical Slut? Have you heard of that book?
Oh my goodness.
Sweetheart, I probably wrote that book somewhere along the line.
You should read it. It's an interesting book.
Yeah, I'm really familiar with that premise because I think I read something about it, and I mean it really asks, really, are we supposed to be monogamous?
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, and we have these 7-year cycles, and there's all these different things, even down to the way we pick mates when we're on birth control. Really changes. I mean, because
just the idea that, I mean, this kind of, they call it the standard narrative that everybody kind of works off of, this assumption that whether you're religious or not, this assumption that monogamy is normal and natural for our species. That's like, if we all go off that assumption, okay, then all these things follow. But if we look at that assumption and say, is that really, you know, of course, if you're not religious, this would have to like kind of suppose that you're not religious and you don't think that God ordained this stuff for us.
Doesn't matter. It's morality, is however you want it.
Right, but I mean, coming from my perspective, if I don't believe that God ordained anything, because I don't believe there's a God, so it's like if we're just a species, an animal species, why would we think that we're supposed to be monogamous? Is there any other species, animal species, that is monogamous? There's really not. There's like maybe one that's kind of.
No,
there's
loads.
No, there are several.
Yeah.
That are monogamous, like but if you think about monogamy in the way that we think about it, like we think of like you don't have sex with anybody, you get married and you have sex with that person for the rest of your life. How many?
Yes, they're mates. They're bonded.
There are a few, but not as many as one would want to make it.
Not very many.
Yeah.
Not very many. There's like and then also if you like, okay, so genetically, what are we this most similar to? Like most people think of chimpanzees, right? Well, but really there's as much of a similarity between us and bonobos. And if you look at bonobos, those are very like, if you talk about sexually promiscuous, I mean, like they use sex as not just like reproduction. They use sex as like a way to relieve stress. They use sex as a way to socially bond. They use sex as a way to ease tension. They use sex. I mean, men, we would call them women and men, but females and males have sex with each other. It's like a totally different. So if we would have had our species and looked at ourselves as similar to the bonobos instead of the chimpanzees, we may have had a totally different idea of where we were supposed to be.
And I would agree with that. I mean, and religion does kind of give us a morality issue, and I certainly have similar beliefs to you. And I was saying, I do like monogamy, but I don't know that that's what I think that gets us in trouble. And I think if two people want to be monogamous, they should. And but people need to say, I want monogamy, this is what I expect. And if they don't want it, they should find a mate that doesn't want it. And
I mean, but like even what you were saying, like how you feel like this is your saving grace, like that kind of is saying that you underlyingly feel like you failed. And I mean, like I guess from my perspective, I would say maybe the whole system is set up, is kind of fucked up in the first place. So it's telling you that you failed when really you didn't fail any more than. Do you understand what I'm saying? I don't think that you necessarily failed. Is that maybe like the system is set up towards people who tend towards monogamous relationships, and it works for them, but people who don't, then it makes us or anybody else who doesn't like necessarily want that setup, it makes us feel like we're wrong and there's something wrong with us, we're unnatural, there's some, and it's like, well, who decided that natural was monogamous? When did that get decided, So that's all I was trying to point out. Again,
from that point of view, if you want to live that particular lifestyle, I haven't got a problem with it. That's something you've made a decision about, and as long as you find partners that are happy with that situation, who cares?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's fine.
It's not my business. It's your business.
And I think that there's something really sweet about monogamy. I mean, when I'm with somebody that I love, I've been monogamous, so that hasn't been an issue. But staying in that relationship long enough. I mean, my situation was kind of different, and I don't really feel like a failure. I really, honestly, don't care because I know I at least handled myself right. I worry about other people. It's a classic. I care about what other people think about it because they'll make assumptions without asking questions.
Right. Well, and we live in it. I mean, whether it's right or wrong, we live in a culture pretty much worldwide that is pretty monogamous centered. That like if you're not monogamous, I mean, people are like serial monogamists, right? Like that's basically how the way most people are. Is like they'll be monogamous with one person for a certain amount of time, and then they move on to somebody else. Most people don't just have one partner for life. That's pretty rare. So, but that's kind of the way that it's set up. Is that and it's like, especially if you have children. I mean, it's one thing to be non-monogamous if you're a single person, but if you have kids, people do not look on that very well, that you would have different partners, even if you're not like bringing them into your home and having your kids being affected by whatever. It's just that's not an accepted thing at all, especially, I mean, I guess in the US, I don't know what is other places, but
it's the British men that got it going on.
So it's very much a cultural thing, I think, and so I mean, it's not like I don't understand what you're saying, that you have to be.
Don't wait too long, honey, because I'm 50 years old now, and now I've got to go do this dating thing all over again.
No, I hear you. I'm recently divorced. I was married for 13 years, so I get it. I understand.
Too old. Maybe I'll just have to stay single. No. So what else? Anybody want to talk about anything else? I mean, you know how us women, we get a little chatty. Ocean's got lots to say.
Oh no! Don't look at me for subjects.
Mark's here. Hey, Mark.
Good morning.
How are you?
Hi, Mark.
Hi, I'm fine, thanks. I was just drinking my first coffee of the day. So.
I was going to say, you're just waking up, aren't you?
Yeah, it's 10 to 9. I've just dropped my son at school, and I've got about 40 minutes before I start work.
Oh, nice.
How old is your son?
He's 12.
Oh, all right. At school? He's not up. You guys don't have like break at this time? I guess not. Maybe.
No, we're not till around mid-July, about 17th of July. Then I get 6 weeks because it's just my son and I at home. So I'm a single parent. So yeah, we get 6. He gets 6 weeks off, and I get 4. So I get when he breaks up for the summer holidays, I have 2 weeks off, then 2 weeks back at work, although I'll be working from home, so that's, and then 2 weeks off again, so that's good. So.
Mark, did you happen to see Nadia's hangout this evening with G-Man?
Yes, I was watching up until the point Floyd left, and I watched a little bit of Candy kick Beckel's backside.
Did you love it?
Yeah, it was good.
Beckel? Oh,
wait, what did Candy do to kick Beckel's backside?
Oh, go ahead.
Well, it was more of a case of they were, well, you know what Beckel's like. Just before G-Man came in, it was Beckel and Sheamus and Tommy Hall Sticking to what things that were said in the Bible, and I think Candy pointed out, well, yeah.
They were, weren't they?
Yeah, it was Candy was basically saying that, you know, surely blessed, something in the Bible, for argument's sake, blessed are the peacemakers, is a good thing. You know, people that want peace or advocate peace or try to get people together in the name of peace is a good idea. It doesn't really matter if Jesus said it or not, whether we can prove it was historical. Jesus said it. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Idea. It doesn't matter whether Jesus said it or not. It doesn't matter whether you can prove Jesus said it or not. The actual words are good.
Yeah.
I think that was the point Candy was trying to make.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was hearing her say, what is wrong with being nice? And you could just see G-Man's head just like, even though it wasn't, just spinning, like he didn't know where to get his bearings. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, people like Tommy and Beckel and G-Man and Shamos are bent on it. I can understand, because them, if there's a chink in the armor about the Bible or whether Jesus was real, or they can't cope with that idea. They just cannot. That is there. Without that, they've got no other. Their life is ended.
Yeah. Well, then when Candy, you remember when they asked you what you believed?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was it. Because she had them on the rings at one point, and I was like, okay, well, this is going to be interesting. And then, of course, they asked her what she believed, and then they took that. They were like a bulldog with that, which I thought was really unfair.
Well, actually, they didn't. I don't think they, as far as to be able to pick that apart, as far as to say, okay, my beliefs aren't your beliefs, then what trumps what? Okay, and see, anytime somebody, especially if it's a Christian believer, anytime that they try to dominate the conversation with anything else but love, they lose. Because I can always win on that grounds that your religion says that love trumps everything. So if you divert from the fact that love trumps everything, that means you're going against your own doctrine. So like you help me win against you, basically.
Yeah, you've got these people are if you have to refer to a book for everything, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and then based on the grounds that and many Christians don't think about this, because you gotta understand when you go to church. I don't know if anybody in here used to be a Christian, but I did. And when you go to a church, and I was raised with Christians on both sides, so they hit us hard. All right. I used to be so afraid to go to sleep at night because I was scared, and I also would be afraid to do anything wrong because I didn't want to go to hell and stuff like that. All right, but they hit you really hard, so you got to think it's no different than if a child is taught to be racist. You can't really be mad at a child for being racist if that's what they've been taught. I mean, you know, as they get to be adult, all right, and that's all they know. Okay, this is what they was taught and brought up in and trained from a little kid, or even if it wasn't from a little child, it was enough period of time that they were it was brainwashed with this belief system that it's very difficult to get them to believe anything else. All right. And it will take something drastic, like a bitch on YouTube. I mean,
crazy women on YouTube.
It would take somebody like me that's very, strong-minded, and
yeah. And that was the thing that Floyd was doing before you came in. I mean, what Floyd doesn't know about the Bible probably isn't worth knowing, and all he was just saying to them all was, okay, let's look at these things that are said, let's analyze them, let's research them, and if you find out something isn't reliable, then you've got to question the rest of it.
No.
But people like Veckel and G-Man won't. They worship the Bible. That's the problem.
Yeah, you would never. That's the thing. That's the wrong angle. You could never convince a Christian that anything in the Bible is not true. There's no way. See, what you got to understand, the belief.
Well, there have been people like Eve and Tonya who were like that. Eve, Real, and Tonya were fundamental. They were fundies, and they're atheists now.
Well, that's
because they looked into things. They critically, evaluated what they were brought up to believe.
Yeah, but a fundy is not nothing like a Pentecostal or a holiness or a Catholic. That's nothing. I mean, you wouldn't believe the amount of brainwashing that goes into that religion, and that's why I say you couldn't really phantom that. It's just like if you weren't raised to be racist, you could never phantom what a child is being taught in a racist household. Okay, so it's some type of brainwashing that you like. People that talk about cults and stuff. When you're on the outside looking in from a cult, you're like, why do people believe in this?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about the UK. Religion isn't. It's nothing. When I first started coming to the internet or Google Plus and YouTube many years ago, it just amazed me that there's nothing like it in the UK. Not that you've noticed. There probably are people like that in the UK, as Tony will probably agree, but nowhere near as many as and. Religion just isn't a big. No one gives a shit in the UK, really. To be honest, it's just.
Yeah, I have to admit, like Mark, I was absolutely staggered when I came here and saw the arguments that were going on about religion, because that just doesn't happen in the UK. Occasionally, you'll see someone, I don't know, at Speaker's Corner, screaming his lungs out about the Bible, or on some high street somewhere, but they are so rare. It's like looking for hen's teeth.
No one takes any notice.
Yeah. Fabio was saying that it was it's kind of a secondary thing. Each town has their drugstore or their butcher or their, whatever, and then they have their church, and it's just kind of a secondary thing.
It's just no big, occasionally, I had some Jehovah's Witnesses knock on the door the other day, and she said, would you be interested in discussing this, and showed me the watchtower, and I said no thanks, I'm an atheist. She said, oh well, thanks for opening the door at least, which made me laugh. Years ago I invited because they always come in pairs, they're like Siths. There's always the apprentice and the master, and it's usually quite an elderly-ish lady and a very young girl, or an elderly man and a younger man. And I invited them in for a cup of tea once, and they could get out. You could see they wanted to get out because I was asking some questions and that were uncomfortable, and then they made excuses and left.
I think that. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
So other than that, there's no.
Yeah, I have to admit, I'm exactly the opposite to you, Mark. If one turns up on the doorstep, or two, as you say, because they always turn up in twos, it doesn't make any difference what the organisation is, they always turn up in twos. I will stand there and I will put the arguments to them.
Well, I did that one. I thought 4 or 5 times I've had them knock the door. Once they said, I did this very similar. I said very politely, no thanks, I'm an atheist. And the woman made the mistake of saying, well, why are you an atheist? And that was it. We spent about half an hour at the door saying, well, this Bible verse and that Bible verse and this and that and because this. And,
I have to admit, I actually knew more about the Bible than they did, which is pretty fucking sad.
That's what I felt at the door. She was saying, I said, well, what about this? Well, what made you become an atheist? And what about? I said, well, picked at random that was discussed last night, the census that's in Luke. Which is just a fabrication. We went through that, and she was like, "Oh, I didn't know that. I'll have to look that up." And I thought,
that's a fabrication.
Well, it didn't happen. The idea that the Romans asked people to go back to where they were supposedly born and be counted and taxed is ludicrous. It didn't happen. The Romans kept very meticulous records that showed that they sent their tax collectors and census officials out to people because they could see what they had, the assets they had, and they could tax them on the spot and count them. They didn't ask people to come all the way to them and then say, have you got any assets? No. Oh, well, no tax for you this year then. Next. What about you? No, I haven't got anything. Oh, no tax for you. It just didn't happen like that. So the census in Luke is a straight up lie. It didn't happen.
There was a census of under Quirinius, but it wouldn't have been managed that way. Yeah, the census of Quirinius took place either 4 BC or 6 AD. One of the dates is something that is associated with Herod, and the other is associated with the census of Quirinius. But when Quirinius took the census, it would have been, like you said, going out and seeing people, not requiring that everybody show up somewhere.
Yeah,
the census matches up with an historical event. It's just it's not performed the way it should be in the story.
Yeah, exactly. I've got it. I can't remember now which. It was. There's no record of Caesar Augustus's decree that all the world should be enrolled. No. That's in Luke.
The Bible suggests it's a Rome-wide census, and the only thing that we can match it up with is a particular census.
Yeah, I mean all the tax
done by Quirinius, who was the governor.
Yeah, I mean all the Roman records we have show that the taxation was done by various governors at provincial level. Right. So the tax was collected on site by travelling assessors. So that would mean Joseph's journey from what little property he must have owned, ridiculous. I think it was every 5 years the Romans enumerated the citizens and their property to determine what tax they should pay, and that practice was extended to include the entire Roman Empire in 5 BCE. So the whole thing was just it was to shoehorn Joseph and Mary into Bethlehem to make sure Jesus was born there. It's just nonsense.
Yeah. You know, what I find so unusual. Oh, go ahead, Jen.
Go ahead.
Oh, what I find so unusual about American Christians is how badly they want to have the come to an end. I don't want to say flat out die, but I've heard them say so many times, "Oh, I can't wait till this life is over, so I can go stay." And I think, that then they're, if there is a God, then they're wasting this life that God gave them, just worrying about going there. And there's so much to be done here.
But they don't think they are wasting it, do they? Because they think they've got something better to go to. So, and yet Raw 5069 has openly admitted numerous times in Hangouts and videos that if he was in charge, he'd end the world tomorrow. He'd press the button and kill us all.
Yep. Well, those antinatalists, they want everybody dead now.
Commando said that in, I don't know whether Ocean was there the other day in Nadia's Hangout. I asked Commando what his utopia would be. He said non-existent.
Yeah.
That seems like a very Commando thing to say.
Yeah.
And he's 20. He's 20 years old.
How much suffering could there be?
What's happened in his life?
I don't think that either one of these people are antinatalists, though. I think Commando identified, like, he understands it and thinks that it has some good points, but I don't think he is one. And Raw he's not even antinatalist, he's just straight up crazy ass Christian, right?
Yeah.
He's fire and brimstone, and you can have a discussion with Raw for a short while before
I respect
you get frustrated.
Raw does have a nice beard.
Oh, good beard, yeah, very ZZ Top.
Yeah.
So, I don't know who they're talking about, Candy. I'm not familiar with all these people.
He's a preacher.
He's Raw 5069. He does some good music. He's good with the guitar, but he can discuss things for a very short while before he then gets onto the fire and brimstone, and we're all going to go to hell. And he shares a lot of end times videos and memes and stuff. He can't wait.
I sat and listened to an antinatalist a little speech. They seem to do everything by video. Nobody will meet in a hangout or anything. They always seem to battle via video, and it seems like they have a script. And this one young man says, and I had to write it down because it just, he was discussing that non-existence was preferred to existence because at some point an unidentified person who may or may not exist might possibly suffer. And I thought, wow, that's a...
Yeah, it's a huge emphasis on suffering. That being said, I've totally been in a few antinatalist hangouts. They happen. Talk to Hazy Wolf. He holds them a lot.
Oh, I've been to them, and they don't like me coming there.
Oh well, if you're not an antinatalist, they tend not to like you showing up.
Well, the first time I asked, I wanted to know what they were up about, and what they were about. And she, of course, they asked me the first time is, who gave you permission to have your daughter, or did your daughter give you permission?
Right. It's that consent of reproduction.
Yeah. And the other thing is they send these things around, and this young man that was on this one that I just got, he's passed away. He committed suicide. And I've been by their meeting rooms, and they're romancing suicide. There was a young man in there that was telling a story, and he said, I really want to end it all. And two people were in there going, yeah, you really should.
Wow!
Honey, I walked right on in there. I mean,
is that against the law?
Well,
who are they going to prosecute if you kill yourself?
Right. Yeah. And the thing is, it's here's that moral issue, right? Whether it's morally wrong or not, because of course in their beliefs that they're doing the right thing. So I walked in and I said, hey, I was listening in and heard what you guys said and just wanted to know if you guys were doing okay, and kind of shared some stuff that had gone on in my life, because I've lost about 35 coworkers to early death, and about a third or more of them were suicide. So it was a real personal issue. And I just said, if you guys ever need somebody else to talk to, I'm here. And then I just exited gracefully. I didn't want to, scream at him. Obviously, you don't want to do that. But that really disturbed me that I just think I haven't heard a story yet from any of them that can compare to what real suffering is, and I don't get it.
It always amazes me, people like Raw, these people that keep on about how wonderful the next life's going to be and how terrible this life is. But they never seem in any hurry to go there themselves anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. That's everybody's suggestion. Well, but that just...
Don't they believe suicide's a sin, so they can't?
Yeah.
That's the get out clause, isn't it? That's the, if I could, I would go now, but the Bible says that I'll end up in hell if I kill myself.
I don't know if that's the Bible thing.
Not a get out thing. That is in the Bible. That is a sin. Self murder is a sin.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Yeah. Unless you're a Muslim.
Yeah.
Then you get the virgins. Well, why 72? Why not a round number? 75 or 70.
Just to make you mad.
72 is the minimum. You can have a larger number if you want.
Where are all these virgins that are dying?
They're celestial beings.
Yeah.
Well, they're not actual virgins that were here.
They're not actual human virgins. They're like angels. They're just angelic sex lives in heaven.
Are they human-sized? Because
you
don't get like 72 Tinkerbells then, because that would be awkward.
No, it's hard to stick your penis in that.
72 spinners. I'm sorry. Well, I had to ask. Flyora has been yanking my chain, and I made a couple comments to her that she got real mad at, and she said she hated my guts, and she was going to block myself. And really, what I said, I actually wasn't even responding to her. I mean, I don't think I was responding to her. It was somebody else, and she was going to block me and somebody else, and I said, look. Don't block the other person. They don't have anything to do with this. If you want to block me, that's fine. Well, now she messages me again, and I said, look here, Morticia. I said, I'm done with you and your, death to all. You said you hated me and you didn't want me to bother you, and I've not provoked you. So, go. I said, go find a hospice unit and go see what suffering is. Go to a pediatric burn unit and go see what suffering is. Get some perspective and then come on back.
I was even less kind. I'm sorry. I'm even less kind with that. I just don't have. There are enough things to be. If these people want to, then fine. Just kill yourself and let the rest of us get on with.
I'm looking at Bible.
I'm going to spank you next time I see you.
Well, if you can only do so much, you can try, and as you've done, you spoke to these people. You try your best, and if at the end of the day that because it's a destructive thing, they're not providing anything of value, then go.
They're also perpetuating the thing they hate so much, because they're running around Chicken Little, the sky's falling, making everybody else miserable, therefore causing suffering. Yep.
Darwin Awards, just do yourself in and make space for someone that wants to stay around.
guys, I found a page about suicide in the Bible, and
I'll put it in the side chat.
Yeah, I did. There isn't really a verse that just says "Don't kill yourself." It's just there's a lot of suggestion that, when added up, it makes sense that suicide is.
Yeah, that's what I meant by say in the Bible. I didn't mean directly, but yeah, the implication is.
I'm not saying this because you're right. When I hear these kind of things, I'm like, oh, well, what does it say? And if you look at it from a certain perspective, yes, it does. But if you're looking for a verse that says clearly, "Don't kill yourself," well, that one doesn't exist.
It doesn't say.
Well,
yeah.
That's because the Bible doesn't speak the way we do now. So if you're looking for it in that perspective, you won't find that. That doesn't prove that it's not in there, darling. I'm sorry, I have to correct you on that.
I'm not. I mean, yeah, if you want to.
I think what they used to say is
this page is saying that the suicide is against the Bible, and it gives a set of verses.
These people thought you would go to hell if you killed yourself before, and that apparently isn't in the Bible. From what I've been told, that it does address suicide in some way, but not that you're going to hell.
Yeah, not directly. And no, it doesn't. It doesn't say you're going to hell for that. There's only a couple of things where it says you're going to hell.
Yeah, and Miss Candy, I put the antinatalist over there. You can Google it.
Oh, that's what it is, an anti.
Yeah.
Those are people that believe in killing themselves.
No, they believe that we shouldn't have children, right? Which is fine. I was on board with that one. I understand that we have a lot of kids, in this world that need, a place to live, and we're running out of resources and all that stuff. But then their feeling is that you don't have a right to have children. They told me evolution tricked me by giving me an orgasm, by giving me the ability to orgasm.
That's really. I remember you saying that.
Awesome.
Candy, I put up there's a Wikipedia page to the antinatalist. It has a lot about the history of it.
I don't do them, not Candy. You haven't heard about me, but Candy don't do them like that.
There's the page so you can read it.
No. Candy don't do them right like that. No.
Well,
I don't get my information from online from nobody. All right.
Oh. There's a few holdouts.
Yeah, I like to get if I don't get my information from a reliable source, I would feel like that I'm not investing in actually knowing the truth. All right.
All right.
That's the way Candy do it. I don't follow the crowd. Okay.
You are a trailblazer, aren't you?
Yeah.
I think there's a guy named Benatar. There's a book out that this gentleman wrote. I think his name is Benatar. I'm not quite sure. And then I've been watching Amendum's videos and just driving myself insane.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah, have you seen?
I was going to ask, why do you do that to yourself?
Yeah, well, this whole thing is getting to me, this nonchalant, and I get my hair going, right? So I get the hair all up, and I start going, fuck you. And he does this thing with the phone, and it's the same thing. He won't answer a question. It's all sarcasm. I'm like, ah. And so I don't make any comments because I know what his response is going to be. Screw you, fuck you, whatever he's going to say.
Sugar, what is your belief?
Well, I guess I would be very close to an atheist. I think for all intents and purposes, most people would call me an atheist, although I think that there is something that I never had any religion. Nobody in my family did, so I didn't wrestle with whether God was there or not there. I never felt like I was less than or, any of that stuff. So, I led a pretty normal life, but I always felt a certain energy, and I worked as a medic for 24 years. So it was an energy that I felt within me that I saw in people one minute, and when they passed, that wasn't there anymore. But it doesn't have any kind of consciousness, that I know of. It's just, maybe it's just blood flowing. I don't know. But my life is, even if I believed in Jesus and God, my life wouldn't be any different. The only thing that would be different would be my afterlife, because I think I've led a pretty good life. But I don't worry about that stuff. But I definitely am a supporter of people who want to believe what they want to believe, as long as they're healthy. I worry about the people that have been damaged in the name of religion, people whose sexuality has been questioned and harmed in the name of religion. So I mean, I do have some real strong feelings about it, but I don't usually put it out too much. I leave that to the people who are a little more versed, because I really don't know a lot about it since I didn't have a life with religion.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave me like 7 different names, and I don't really know, but I think I would probably be closest to an atheist, but I don't. I'm not angry.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not angry. I think I would probably be an atheist. I never.
I always think that's funny though. So many people, they ask you that question as soon as you say you're an atheist. Why are you angry?
Well, but you do know them though, don't you, Damien? You do know the angry atheists, right? I mean, we know those that are really pissed, and they're really still pissed at God, which means they believe in God, which means they're not really an atheist. But I'm not I'm not going to be the one to call them on that. That's not my business. I mean, if they got to work their stuff out, they got to work their stuff out.
I mean, I get called angry every now and again too, because I'm a outspoken anti-theist. But they call me angry about that, and then I turn around and say, well, you look at the harm that religion has caused throughout the ages and tell me why I shouldn't be angry.
Yeah, I mean, if you have people... Go ahead, Mike.
I think a lot of believers don't understand that we quote unquote atheists, don't hate God. A, we can't hate something we don't believe in, and B, when we talk about God, we're talking about the character of God in the Bible. Yes. So we're saying if God was real and did the things attributed to him, that would make him a monster. Or if Jesus was real, then what he said doesn't make sense because, and so on and so on. So we're using the characters in the book as depicted in the book. We're not saying, well, God's this because we believe in God and want to critique him. It's not the way it works.
And Candy, I think about the way you are, and that you believe in God, and you just want to love people, and you want people to be loved. And if that's the way everybody was, I'd be absolutely on board with that. You'd get me to ride that train all day long. But it's all the other stuff, and I think you know what I'm talking about. That's stuff that hurts people. You can't go with that. So.
Right. And this is why when I entered into the hangout today, what somewhat infuriated me. I wasn't angry as I was hurt. Okay. Because if someone hurts somebody that you love, then you're gonna be hurt too. And I love God, and I know He loves people. Okay. And for Christians to display Him as this mean, I'm gonna send you to hell, dictator, what else the fuck they got? It's not good. It's just not a good it's not an accurate representation of who He is.
Of what an omnipotent God would be, right? If He was so powerful.
Well, an all-benevolent God, but then that's that's cherry picking, because God, you can't know the mind of God. How can you know the character of God? You can't know.
No, I agree. Yesterday when there was a debate, I had to ask a question. I didn't have to, but I volunteered to ask a question from the Christian point of view, because the young atheist, who's a very bright young man, he's from Sussex, as a matter of fact, he had suggested that Jesus could not have died for my sins because I'm the only one that dies for my sins, and he was much more eloquent, of course. And so I asked him. I went from the opposite side, because I always ask, if you have this omnipotent God, why is everything so contradictory? It just doesn't seem to fit. And I asked him, do you presume to know the mind of God, that this is illogical? I mean, how do you know? And he just looked up for a second like, shit. Well, then he answered them.
The attributes given to God are that He's perfect.
But yet He's not.
Well, a perfect being would have no need at all, let alone need to be worshipped. He's perfect. He wouldn't even have the need to create in the first place. He would sit there in His perfectness. He wouldn't suddenly think, Oh, I'm bored.
So you think that a person? So you think that now okay? What you're not realizing is you're making an assumption as well, because there's no way you could emphatically know what a perfect being would do.
Well, we have the definition of what perfect is, don't we?
No, we don't. Okay,
Yes,
because
well, we do. Why use the word perfect if we don't know what it means?
Because you're assuming a definition to it.
What else am I to do?
Well, you don't. I mean, you can do that if you want to. I'm just letting you know that just because you're attributing something to God, that don't.
I don't. The Bible does. The Bible says He's perfect.
Yes,
Christians say that God is perfect.
Yes, but that word perfect doesn't mean. Remember, I said you're attributing a definition to the word perfect.
So what does it mean then?
That word perfect means a balance. Okay, so when you say perfect and when I say perfect, you may assume that I mean the same thing that you mean, but we don't.
Well, perfect. The definition of perfect that all human beings use, it has. I'm not with you. You're now saying that you can use a definition that suits you, but I can't.
I didn't say you couldn't do anything. I said you can do that. I said, but that doesn't mean that it's appropriate to what we're talking. You're talking about God, right? All right, and you're associating with your meaning of what you think that perfect means.
No, well, we don't have any other choice. We are human beings. We invented the words and gave them definitions and meanings. And one of those words. Yeah, one of those words is being used. But
also our words have more than one meaning. Do you agree with that?
Oh yeah, words have usages rather than meanings. But if you're now reducing God's perfectness to simply meaning balance, well,
that's not a reduction. That's a full definition.
No, it's not. Perfect means not wrong, not and
flawless.
Flawless in every single way. Yeah. In his nature, in his it could be image, it could be nature, it could be the words, actions, absolutely flawless, no mistakes.
I'm looking at, here's the definition of perfect.
Well, it's omnipotent. Isn't that what they're using?
No, omnipotent means all powerful.
Oh.
Okay.
And omniscience means all knowing, which doesn't. I mean, yeah. Sorry.
Omnipotent. I know what I'm talking about. Omnipotent means omnipotent, and it means all powerful. I know what I'm talking about, babe.
Yeah.
So does that apply to God then?
Yes.
Right. So why is it you're using omnipotent to mean all powerful in relation to God when there are other definitions of it?
She brought it up. I was just clarifying what the word means.
Yeah, but you just said to me there are different definitions of words, but you're only using one definition of omnipotent.
Okay, what's the other word of the other definition?
I just see one right now.
God is everything, so
omnipotent can also mean having great power and influence. Doesn't mean
what the heck I just said.
No, you said unlimited power, all powerful.
Oh man.
Great power isn't necessarily unlimited power.
No, now you mixing words. No, yeah. I'm not gonna do that.
I'm using a different definition as you did with the word perfect.
It's still related to power,
but not necessarily all powerful.
Okay, all right.
Right, well, we're referring to God. We're
still mincing words.
Right, yes. Yeah, so if we're referring to the way human beings view a God, it is the highest. You can't get any better than God, in your view. So he has to be the most perfect, the most flawless, the most powerful, the most benevolent. He knows everything. He can do anything. So
also because he's remember what I just said. See, this is the thing I'm gonna need you to do. If you want to know my views, I'm gonna need you to ask me my views. Don't attribute none of that Christian bullshit on me. All right? I'm not Christian.
Candy, can I ask one question, please? Mm-hmm. Your God, how you view him or her, I'm not sure.
He is both genders. He is both genders.
Okay. For simplicity's sake, I'll just say he. Mm-hmm. Is he as good as he could possibly be?
Is he?
As good as he can possibly be.
In order to, okay, this goes back to what I was trying to explain to Mark. In order for you to say good or bad, you would have to you would have to define what good and bad is. All right.
Okay, good not in that
Wait a minute,
context.
let me finish, please. You asked me a question, let me finish at least this aspect of it. All right. Christians say that it's bad to cuss. All right. Christians do. But God doesn't. This is where we have a problem, all right? This is where the problem come in, because
how do you know God doesn't?
Because he told me, all right. This is the thing.
Well, now we've got a problem. How did God? Yeah. How do you know it was God that was communicating
Let me finish this one thing, okay? No, you're not gonna drag me all over the motherfucking place. If you're gonna let me speak and complete a thought first, and then we'll go to
problem. No problem. Calm down. Calm down.
Because you ain't gonna drag me all over the motherfucking place.
Well, you gotta calm down.
No, we're not gonna do that. All right. All right. Now, we'll stick with one thing at a time, please. All right. And if we're talking about good and evil, all right, we would first have to define what good and evil is, okay? Please understand, my knowledge of God is that he is a perfect balance of both good and evil. That's why I'm telling you, hon, that the word perfect, okay, as he explained it to me, is the word perfect means whole and entire, wanting nothing. All right. Basically, he's a perfect balance of both good and evil. You know what? A lot of people think that in a perfect world, that a perfect world would have no bad, all right? But the way God explained it to me is, in order for a world to be perfect, you need a balance. And that balance consists of both good and evil. So these Christians that think they go into this world where it's only good and no sorrow, no sadness, that kind of Fantasyland bullshit. All right, that is not real. All right, that is not real. It's Fantasyland. Hell is fake. Hell is fake. All right, heaven is fake. All that bullshit. All right.
I agree, because we've already got that here. So why do we need it elsewhere?
Exactly. All right. Now, when you ask me who's God, how do I know? Because we is God, all right? We are God, all right?
I'm going to ask my original question, but I'm going to clarify
what
good means in this context. In this context, good means having all the required qualities, attributes, that sort of stuff. It's not a good-evil definition of good. It's the other definition of good.
Just one-sided.
So, no, good just means everything's all there. Everything that's required, all the qualities, they're all there. Okay, so that's what good means in this context. So, does your God...
explain that more. Okay, but
is your God as good as possibly can be? So, does he have everything that he can possibly have?
I think that she said that God is a balance between good and evil, so
yeah,
if God is both good and evil in her perspective, then the answer to that would be no.
Yeah, and if he's perfectly balanced, he wouldn't have things like jealousy, because he'd have that balanced as well.
The definition of perfect then.
Oh, yeah, so exactly. And the same as omniscience.
Is not perfect.
The same as omniscience you mentioned, Candy. I mean, I've said
she
this before,
she was saying perfect isn't perfectly balanced.
Yeah, but the thing is, he can't be an equal balance of good and evil, because he can't be in the presence of evil. So if he's evil,
that's what the Christians say, babe. I ask you not to attribute what I'm saying to what Christians believe.
Candy is not a complete Bible believer.
Yes, I'm not a Christian. Okay.
So, Candy,
you're not a bibliophile.
That's what the Christians say. He's only good. And
so do you believe in Jesus, Candy?
Do I believe he was a person? Yeah.
Do you believe he was the Son of God?
Believe his name wasn't even supposed to be Jesus. Jesus means Savior. That was a character.
Oh no, yeah. There was no letter J then. So yeah, that aside, do you believe Jesus, Yeshua, Emmanuel, whatever, was the Son of God?
I just told you. I believe we are too.
Yes. So Jesus is Son of God in the same way that you or I.
Right.
Yeah, in the same exact manner.
An ordinary man then.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that we're ordinary, baby.
Well, yeah. Now we're splitting hairs. I don't think we're ordinary. For me, people say that we're imperfect. No, we're not. We are perfect. We're perfectly human. We are how we're supposed to be. We act and we're supposed to act. We are. So yeah.
Candy, can I ask you a question?
Sure, babe.
Okay, so when you say perfectly balanced, does that mean if God were to do something evil to someone, that he would have to do something equally good for someone else, or equally good for that person, or?
When I say perfectly balanced, it's not attributed to a specific act. Okay. What I mean is, okay.
I think you're referring to the sum of his parts rather than each individual action.
Okay, so in all the world, you're saying there's equal amount of evil as there is good.
No, because good outweighs evil. Okay, in his in the scale, good outweighs evil. So you can have more evil than good, and it'll balance out. I mean, wait a minute. Hold on, let me say it right. You can have more good than evil, and it's balanced. All right. Because good, let me finish, because good is more weightier. All right. But okay, now back to what you was asking me, sweetie. Triple threat. What's your name?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. All right. You was asking me, did God? What did you say? Did God do one act of evil over here and then do something good on this side? No. What I mean by perfect balance of both good and evil is, okay, God is good in every way because he knows how to attribute good to where good is necessary and evil to where evil is necessary, that it balances out. What I mean by when I say evil is that people consider punishment as evil, all right? I'm only using that word evil because that's a word that you can relate to, all right? But God is very just. You know how the scales of justice, they show the scale of justice, all right? Mm-hmm. In our society, you see many times when there's judgments passed or laws passed or situations in life, we're really unjust people. Like, if somebody does you wrong, you hold grudges like for years and years and years. They might have just did that wrong one time, that one day, and you'll hold the grudge for them from 10 years for that shit. All right? That's unjust. That's very unjust. God is not that way, honey.
So okay. So are you saying that the balance is more good and less evil is the perfect balance? Who decides this perfect balance? Is it your God that decides what is the perfect balance?
What decides the perfect balance is I couldn't really explain that because I don't really understand what your question is. Are you asking me, does God determine what's good and what's bad?
No, you said that good is weightier than evil, so there's more good in the world to balance out the less evil. Is that, if I'm getting what you said correctly? Is that correct?
Yes.
Because when I hear perfect balance, I'm thinking, a punishment would be good for someone who does a crime, but the punishment should be equal to the crime that they committed. That is a perfect balance to me.
Okay, but where would you get that? Where would you get that? Okay, now we're gonna get down to the nitty gritty. Where would you get that scale from to say this is enough?
That's what I'm asking you.
No. Okay, you said, all right. If somebody commits a crime, then they should get 10. Okay, if they kill somebody, they should get life in prison. All right.
No, I did not say that. I said I'm
using that as an example. Hang tight.
Well, no, because that example is not what I said. I said that to me, the punishment should equal the crime. I didn't say I knew what that perfect punishment should be for any specific crime. I'm asking how you know what the perfect balance is, and how your God knows. Does your God tell you, or how does God decide what it is, or what is this perfect balance, and how do we know that it's perfect? Is what I'm asking.
I'm not really understanding, I guess, what the question is, but I don't punish nobody.
Can someone else word it a different way, maybe, that she can understand?
I think.
Does anyone else know what I'm getting at?
Probably fucking not.
I'm sorry. I don't know how to be any more clear. I don't know how to be any more clear in my question. So I'm at a loss.
Unfortunately, Candy, I heard you say we are God. So is that where the confusion is coming in? Because you're claiming that God is a balance of good and evil. Jennifer's trying to find out whether or not who decides what the right balance of good and evil is. In theory, your own statement should actually be able to allow you to answer the question without any hesitation whatsoever.
Well, first of all, I'm not as articulate as y'all are. I am diagnosed mentally retarded. So what may seem simple to you, babe, may not be as simple to me. Okay.
I stand corrected on that score. Okay. But the question was quite simple. Was who decides what balance of good and evil makes God? Who made that decision?
Well, you kind of helped me to think about it, how I can possibly answer that question, or what she's asking me. I might even not be understanding the completely what the question is, but I'll attempt to answer.
You're doing better than I can do, honey. You're doing better than I can do answering these questions, because you know way more than me.
That's what I love about God. Sometimes He gives me answers on the fly, and I'll be like, "Did I just say that?" He did like that. But you're asking me, who's gonna decide what's a perfect balance? Well, in our today's society, who answers those questions? Who answers those questions? Who's been answering those questions?
We do.
Exactly. I already said we was God.
Yeah.
So who else could answer it?
I understand how you believe. I understand. I didn't get it at first.
Answer that.
I get it.
Who else is going to do that?
Yeah. But there's right. Okay. I'm gonna throw this into the mix just because it is human nature. Okay. Right. What might be right to me and good to me may not be good to someone else. Like, for instance, I might be a paedophile. I'm not. For everyone in the room, I'm not.
You could have picked.
But he might be.
Far better. You're gonna get quote mined to death for that. You know that.
I know. It's gonna be up on every.
Keep this one up, sugar. We got to get that one down. I need Andy's.
I just want it known. It's on record.
You can just hear Panda Man time stamping that right now.
Yep.
But
to me, that would be a good thing, right? But to the vast majority of the population of the planet. It's a bad thing. But that means if I'm my own God, that's included in the good scale. And can you see where we're going here? There's some things that people will say they are good, but to the vast majority they're bad. And it's just the way we are wired.
Okay, that's good. Now, that's where we go back into. That only reiterates what I'm telling you, baby, about balance. All right. Okay. Whereas you may think that something like that is right, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But the majority of people feel that it's wrong, right?
Well, it's subjective. I mean, same as if you use murder. I won't go use the same example as Tenny. But if somebody was threatening my son's life, I would kill that if I had to, and I had no other option. I would kill that person. Therefore, from my point of view and my son's point of view, the murder I've just committed is good.
It is. I agree.
So to say murder is always wrong or always bad.
The Bible doesn't say that, baby. The Bible actually says that there's a time for everything.
Yeah. I'm not saying the Bible. I'm backing up what you were saying. It's a subjective. This good and bad. I'm not interested in what the Bible said. It's just an old book. I don't really care about it. The idea of good and bad is you hear a lot of the fundies say, well, would you rape a child? For some reason, they always want to go to that extreme and use raping children as their prime example. Well,
I gotta ask the question.
If I had to rape a child to save my son's life, I wouldn't want to do it. I'd probably, that's just why I use the murder thing. It doesn't make the rape is still wrong,
right?
But and same as if I murdered someone to save my son's life, the murder is still bad. It's not a good thing because it's ending someone's life, but I would do it.
I think it was Matt Bell I was listening to, and he had given me the question: if you had one child had to be violated, and if you stopped it, that 10 others would get violated. And I'm sitting here thinking, this is the 7th time I have heard children being violated this week. What is wrong with these people?
Yeah, it's their go-to thing because it creates the most emotion in people. That's probably
that's what I was going to say, because they're going for the emotion.
Yeah.
So are we good? Are we good with the religious talk now? Can we move on to something just a little lighter? Just a little lighter, people. Little love, a little sex, a little I don't know, coffee, a little travel, a little whatever you want. Jello's got something. I'm sure he's got something to say.
Well, get naked first.
You want sexy time?
Well, it depends on who's getting naked.
Only if Mark cams up.
I wouldn't want to upset people. There may be children watching.
Oh gosh, then we are harming the children again. Is that what you're saying?
If there are any children watching, you have to stay 501 feet away from Tony.
No.
For all you know.
Allegedly.
Tony, that's something I would have done. Tony,
that was a bad choice, I know.
Of all the examples you could have chosen.
Yeah, I know.
There's going to be a video.
That popped into my head, and I'm sorry, that is just so wrong.
Well, with the moral dilemmas, oh shit, I'm loud. I was going to say, with the moral dilemmas, they're always posed as the negative ones. What about ones that would be cases? Is it always right to do something? You don't hear the ones. Well, is it always right in this situation to feed a starving child? Is it always right in the situation to you know what I mean, home someone that's homeless? And they're dilemmas for a reason, because they cause the dilemma that we don't know. But I don't know why it always goes to rape. It always seems to be.
And always child rape. It's never granny rape, is it?
Granny. Hey, I take offense to that now that I am a granny. Now that I'm a gran. There'll be no raping of the gran here. That's all I've got to say.
I could say something to that, but I won't yet.
Yes, I know. You can't rape the willing. I know. Sorry. I know, it's really bad taste. I'm so sorry. Somebody's going to put that up.
I actually wasn't going to say that, but I'll go with that. That one.
All right. Good. Yeah, I don't. Gee, I don't remember how long we were going to do this for. 11:30. Yeah, I think we're getting about done. I mean, if you guys want to stay, we'll keep going. Otherwise, I think it was pretty good for a first one. I mean, we managed to not kill each other, and that makes me happy. Yeah. And we're also very kind.
We need more drama.
More drama? Okay, well, I can provide that. I try not to, but I can provide it.
Oh, come on. I've just produced a timestamp from hell.
Oh, I know.
Oh, yes, you did.
Yes, that is true.
That's gonna be all over me. Oh, Lord Jesus, I wish you would have said that.
There is a positive side to this. I might find myself with a lot more subscribers.
I don't know if that's the kind of.
I don't know what kind of subscribers you.
Well, that's going to be the interesting thing, isn't it?
Yeah, the FBI, the CSA. I was getting your fucking door kicked down at 3 a.m. in the morning. Your hard drive's going to be ripped apart with a fucking pair of tweezers.
I think Tony should just stay on camera because it could happen while we're live.
If you're going to get party van,
hold on. Let me just do this. It'll make things a whole lot easier when it all goes wrong. Okay, hold on.
You just hear a voice saying, "We're the Sweeney. Get your trousers on. You're nicked."
What's he doing?
I don't know, but I think a bigger crime that he might be committing is having that picture of the majestic white tiger behind his head in shot.
I don't. Oh, I didn't notice. Are you talking about my majestic white tiger here?
There was
a beast.
Talking of tigers, there was that tiger yesterday in because they had a lot of floods in Tbilisi, didn't they? In Georgia. Is that where Tbilisi is? Georgia.
Yeah.
And all the animals got out of the zoo. I wondered how they got out. I mean, did they suddenly panic and smash the gates down or something? And some tigers got out, and one killed someone yesterday.
Well, the only thing I'm thinking is that if it flooded bad enough, if the water levels, if they had like sort of ditches to stop the tigers getting, like a moat. If the water level rose, the tigers can swim quite well, right? So they could have just fucked off over that. But they said did it kill someone, or did it just
No, it killed it killed one man and then attacked someone else and injured them before they shot it. The army went and shot it, and they caught the hippos and took them back.
Damn hippos.
Imagine that. I was looking out your bedroom. There was another photograph that showed this big brown bear climbing over an air conditioning unit outside a flat. You can imagine waking up, just put the kettle on, you're a bit bleary-eyed, you open the curtains and there's a fuck-off bear stood by your window.
Oh, I'd go straight back to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd think, Christ, I'm still tired.
Yeah, or have another drink or something.
Or you keep saying, Dad, there's a tiger at the window. Yeah, right, son. Whatever.
Everyone has a go at me being Australian. There's so many creatures there that want to kill you. We don't have big fuck-off bears, though.
No,
I couldn't live in Australia because I'm an arachnophobe, so I couldn't.
Yeah. That's actually those koala bears that you have to look out for.
It's the drop bears you got to worry about.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not the koala bears, it's the hybrids, the drop bears.
There's much more being said in the States about this shooting that happened just recently, or last night, or this night.